Welcome back. We now head to the lacrosse fields for some midweek action between the Proctor, Hermantown Stealth and the Blackhawks from TrIMAC. The Stealth still undefeated in this young season, sitting at a perfect 5-0. And right off the opening faceoff, they showed why. Senior Cody Kalkburner's shot goes off a Blackhawks helmet. Everyone freezes except for senior Dane Calloway, sit-in backdoor for the goal. It's 1-0 Stealth. Next possession for the Stealth, and senior midi Gavin Reed sprints to his right and fires a bullet to his left, beating the goalie short side to double the lead to 2-0. And of course, the boys were buzzing in the first quarter. The two goal scorers connect for another one. Reed over to Calloway, the hockey goalie scoring instead of making saves. 3 goals in 3 minutes to stretch the lead. But the Blackhawks wouldn't go down without a fight. Senior captain Wyatt Hunt makes a move down low and then fires a missile from midair, beats the goalie glove side to bring it to a 3-1 game. But the Stealth would continue to roll offensively to a 14-6 win over TrIMAC. Proctor Hermantown stays perfect and moves to 6-0 on the year. And over at Duluth East High School was the Wolfpack taking on the Spartans from Sparty Party Nation. We could pick up this meeting with the Wolfpack leading by a lot to a little, but that doesn't mean goalie Adeline Benson couldn't make a couple clutch saves. First on Claire Murray, close, then Grace Caracas flies into the zone, but Benson stands tall and gets the knob off her stick. Big saves in big-time minutes for her, but the Wolfpack would add on to their large lead. Freshman midi Bailey Thies turns on the afterburners and shoots a rocket in between the legs of Benson. The Wolfpack were howling all night as they take the shutout win 14-0. And I know I've said this before, I'll say it again, but one of the best things about covering small town sports is the way that they're able to play all the sports. Dane Calloway, big-time Hermantown goalie, and yet he's scoring goals.
Yeah.
With the Lax Bros. You love to see it.
I love those lacrosse highlights. Keep them coming.
No, I love them too.
They're
love
fun
to go to
watch.
games as well.
Yeah.